Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Dev with Excel. All right. So, in today's video, we are going to be solving exercise 2.15. In the previous video, we solved exercise 2.14. So here we are able to implement the delete function, right? So we created a button that when clicked will help to delete the entry of the user, right from the front end. And also, before the delete is done, there is going to be a window pop-up such as this, asking us if we want to delete a particular entry, and we confirm by clicking on OK. All right, so in this video, exercise 2.15, we are going to be looking at how we can update a particular person's phone number, right? Even when the phone number has been added to the database already. So we are going to be using the HTTP put method. We can as well use patch, but I think there's a reason why we are being asked to use put here. So this is the instruction here. All right, so let's head into the code implementation. All right, so this is the current code implementation we have for the previous exercise. We are going to be updating this to make sure that we are able to solve exercise 2.14. So before we update this, let's be sure that what we did previously still works and nothing breaks. All right, so let's copy the parts of this folder. Let's cd into it, and then let's run the front end. That's the React. Also, let's come here as well. Let's cd into this, and then let's run the server. Okay, so all right, so here is the front end. Also, let's see if we can also run the server using the localhost persons. Okay, so all right, so currently this is the information we have in the database.json file, right? And it's being run by the JSON server. All right, so this is what we have currently. Let's see if we can delete and filter and then add names. So let's be very sure that what we have here still works. So inside the db.json, let's see if we can add a name. Let's add a name. Let's call the name Julia, and then having a number of 1 2 3. Let's click on add. So this gets added to the front end and also the back end, right? That's the server. Now let's see if we can filter this name Julia. Let's type J. We have J here. We have two items returned, right? Because they both contain J. Let's try and see if we can filter using a lowercase. All right, so we have J here, J here, so that works. But now to get Julia, I'll just simply type U, and then we have it. Okay, let's also see if we can delete Julia from the data. All right, so let's click on delete. So this asks us delete Julia. We say okay. So we can see that immediately it also leaves the database here, which is represented by the db.json. All right, so currently our code works fine. So what we want to do now is we want to implement the update functionality. All right, so let's head into that part. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this part and then do the same here. All right, so let me close this. So we have 5 files here. We won't be working with this, so let's just close this. We won't be working with this. Let's close this. We are going to be working with this. Yes, very important. We are going to be working with this. Okay, so basically we are working with these two files. All right, so let's write the code implementation that is going to handle the update function. All right, so let's say const. So now the update now is going to have some resemblance with the create function, but just with a little update. So let's say const update is equal to um this. So we say const request, still following the pattern we have for the create and the rest. We say axios dot put. All right, so we are asked to use put. Then after that, we want to return the request itself with a promise using the then. All right, so we say response, then we return the response data. All right, so in here in the put method, we want to return two things, right? So we are going to be having something like this because we want to target the ID of whosoever's number we want to update. So we are going to do something like this. Sorry. Okay, so we say this, then we call in the base URL, and then attached to it is the ID. Then outside this, we use a comma and then add the new object. All right, so here because we've added two new items, the ID and the new object, we have to pass them as parameters here. So we simply just come here and say ID comma new object. All right, so we have to export this. So we copy this and then add it to the export we have here. So we save. All right, so I think we are through with this part. We are through with this file. We can continue just with this app.jsx. Okay, so let's move up to where we have the add name, right? So we can see here that we have a add name function which stops here, right? And then we have the delete name function which stops here. Here, we are not going to be writing a separate function for the update. Rather, we are going to be putting the update logic inside the add name, right? So it is assumed that the update works like we are adding a new name, but first we need to be sure if the name is in or not, if the name is inside or if it's not inside the database, right? So what we can do is we are simply going to be using this name service as well, right? So we are going to be using something like this, but in an updated form. So what we want to do is we are going to be saying if name exists, we run the update logic, else we run this add name logic, this creates logic, right? So if the name exists, we add the update logic, else if the name does not exist, we simply just add a new, completely new entry. That's what it means. So we are going to be bringing this one down. Let's bring it down, something like this. So we are going to say we are going to be adding this create function inside this if name exists. But before we want to do that, we want to at first let's assign this to a variable name. Let's call it const, let's say confirmed. Let's call it confirmed name, or let's just call it confirmed, right? The next we want to do is we come to the next line and say we want to use a conditional statement. Now we say if not confirmed, use a return keyword. So this is trying to tell us that if user doesn't confirm the entry to be true, do nothing. So we just comment on this and then we have this for now. So let's delete this return since we've already used it here. Let's save. Also, we are going to be removing this set new name. Reason being that we are going to be using the set new name here and then set new number here, right? So we don't need it here anymore. Okay, so we have this if statement, which is this now. Now, after all, on the next line, we want to write the update logic. Let's comment on that. Now, The idea is that if the update logic is valid, right, we update. But if it's not, we use an else statement to work with this create logic, right? So that's how it is going to be. So what we need to now do is we say if name exists, we implement the code, the update logic, else we implement the create logic. So we simply come here and say else, and we do something like this. So this name service is going to enter into this else function as it were. So let's just paste it inside like this. So we save. All right, now let's head to the update logic. All right, so this is going to follow something like the create logic, right? So we simply just say name service dot update bracket. Now let's go to the names.js. We can see that here the update function, it accepts two parameters, right? So we come here and then add two parameters. But before we want to do that, what we want to do now is that since we are working with update, we are not directly going to be using this new name now, right? Right, we are going to be checking if the name exists. So this is what we are concerned with. So we are going to copy this and then place it here, which is also what we have here. So we say if the name exists dot name, right, because this is more like an object itself and this name is a property in this object. So we say if name exists, if this person exists. All right, so that's the idea. So here now we are simply going to put in name exists dot id comma this new object here. Don't we have, sorry, new object? Yes, we have a new object. So oh, sorry, name object rather. Okay, let me not type, let me rather just copy and paste so we don't run into issues. So the next thing, we use the then, and this then we are going to write something like updated person, which is going to be like this. And here we are going to be calling the set persons now, right? So this is a function that handles the person's state. So we say set persons, and inside of the set persons we want to say previous person and then do something like this. So we are going to say previous person dot id. So here now you want to confirm if this previous person's id is equal to the name exists id. So we are going to copy this and then we place it here, right? So if this is true, we want to return we want to return the name exists, else we want to return the person. Is it person now or persons? Okay, so let's go back to the state. Okay, so it's persons rather. Okay, so let's save this. So um so let's see what is going to happen. So here we have previous persons dot id is equal to, oh sorry, this is a mistake. So we want to confirm if this id is equal to name exists dot id, right? If that is true, we want to return the updated person, right? But if this is not true, we want to return persons, right? So we understand how to use the ternary operator, right? Using the question mark and the colon to represent the conditional statement. All right, so this is for set persons, right? We are also going to do the same thing for the set filtered person. So let's just copy what we have here. Let's duplicate it. And then we change set persons to set filtered person, just in case we filter out names and then we want to update names, right? So the code is not going to crash, right? So for anything we actually do while we've not filtered the names of the persons, such is going to be valid for when the names are filtered also, right? So here we have set filtered person. Now this part here is not going to be, where do we have this set filtered person? Updated person, previous persons. Okay, so I think there's an issue somewhere. Okay, so let's save this first and see how we can work on that. But I think there's a mistake somewhere. Let's see, set persons. We have the previous persons. Okay, I think here we need to change it to filtered person. Or okay, so what we can do here is we simply just come here and then change this previous. Let's not use this previous person here. Let's change this one to previous filtered person. So let's do something like this, right? So we can just copy this. Let's spell this properly. So let's copy this and then let's paste it here, right? Okay, so we've implemented the code for to handle for the person's state, right? When it's not filtered and then when it's filtered, right? So this is just the idea of writing these two this way. Okay, so what do we do next? The next thing we want to do is, okay, so here now we need to let's run the code and see if our code works to a certain level. All right, so let's come here, let's refresh. Let's be sure that nothing breaks. Let's see if we can still filter blue jean. All right, that works. Let's see if we can add a name. Let's call the name Jimoke. Now that's a Nigerian name. It's a Yoruba name. So Jimoke having a phone number of, let's say, 678. Let's click on add. So this gets added here. Let's see if it's added to the database. So here we have Jimoke, right? Now let's see if we can delete this. Let's click on the delete. It says delete Jimoke. We click on OK. Okay, so that works, right? So let's add it back again. Jumoke 987. Now let's see if we can update Jumoke, right? So let's type in Jumoke and then let's change the number from 987 to, let's say, 456. Let's see if that is going to work. Undefined is already added to the phone book. Okay, I think there's something wrong. Let's go back to app.jsx. It's not even supposed to write undefined. It's supposed to. Okay, so let's first of all work on this. Okay, so let's just see what we can do. Okay, so at first let's be sure that we filter this properly, right? We make sure that we convert the entry to a lowercase, and then we also convert the names that are in the database to lowercase and use the and check if they are the same, right? So we won't be trying to check between an uppercase entry with a lowercase entry, right? So we simply just make both the same case. So this is what we are going to be doing. So we say persons dot name dot to lowercase, and then we also add this also to the new name. So everything gets balanced. Also, I think we need to change this sum to find. So I think there's some issues using this sum here. It's not working properly. So let's change it to find and let's save this. All right, so let's go back to the front end. Let's see if we can change Jumoke. Let's type in Jumoke again. And then let's type in 1, 2, 3. Let's click on add. It says, okay, now it's giving us the name. Now it says Jumoke is already added to the phone book. Let's click on OK. So we are going to see that this should change from 987 to 123. Let's click on it. Oh, it didn't change still. There's an issue somewhere. Okay, I think we should change this alert to windows.confirm because I think it was stated in the instruction. So this is not just going to alert us, right? It's going to ask us if we want to implement the changes, right? So let's save this and then let's refresh this again. And then let's see if we can change Jumoke's contact. 123. Let's click on add. Jumoke is already added to PhoneBook. Okay. This crash. So what happened? It's crashed actually. Okay, now it has changed. So what's happened to it? Something went wrong. It changed from 987 to 123. Let's try it again. I don't know why the screen went up that way. Let's type in 567, add, and then let's click on OK. Oh, 567. Okay, so I don't know why it's working that way, but it's expecting us to refresh for every change that happens. So we have to refresh this before we can see the updates on the front end. Let's see if that's the effect is also seen on the back end. All right, so here we can see that we have Jumoke 567, which is also here 567. Let's try it again for the third time. Let's say 012. Click on add. Okay, so we can see here that it has changed to 012. All right, so I think for some reasons my browser or my device is having some issues. That might be the reason why this just happens that way. Or it might be that there's a part of my code that is not dealing with the that is not making this to refresh in auto mode. I don't know, but I'm still going to confirm that later. All right, friends. So with this, I think we've come to the end of today's code implementation. That's exercise. Exercise, what did we just work on? Let me check again. Exercise 2.15. All right. So I believe everything works fine here. So we can, at this point, update the phone number of a person, right, to whatever number we choose to update it to, thanks to our code implementation. All right. Now, if you notice, we need to bring this set new name and set new number down here so that it works for both create function and then the update function, right? That's the create and the update logic, because as you can see here, currently this is not here. And also before we proceed, we can also handle the errors that might be faced if the update does not go well. So we can just use a catch, right? Using the catch block, we can do something like this. So we can just say console error and just say error updating the number. Also, we can just use an alert here also and then copy the same thing we have here. All right, so now we are having this line here. Okay, so what we can do is we can just come here and do something like this and then say error dot message, because it's expecting us to use this error, right? That's why now we've used it. Now the line is gone. Okay, so let's save this. So we can also do something like this for the create as well, right? So let's see if we can do that for the create. Let's copy what we have here. Let's be very sure. Okay, so we paste it somewhere here, I think. And then let's take out this set new name and set new number. Let's place it here. So all right, so we have it here, and then let's take out this double semicolon. Let's save this and be sure our code runs well again. Let's implement all the changes we've made. So let's filter Jumoke by typing J U. All right, so that works. Let's try and see if we can add a new name. Let's call this new name Philip with, let's say, 876. Let's click on add. It gets added. Let's check the db.json. All right, so Philip is added here. Let's see if we can update the entry for Philip. So we simply type Philip, and then let's give Philip 54. Let's click on add. Philip is already added to the phone book. Okay, so we can see here that the number changed, right? So let's refresh this again. So we can see we have Philip 54 from the initial value it was having here. It has changed to 54. All right. So at this point, I think our code implementation works very well, right? So I hope you find this video interesting, right? So do have a nice time and see you in the next video. Bye.